up. Hey, come here. What the hell is that? Hey! Stop playing, fool!
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are here with the second injury report of the week for the Lions and for the Green Bay Packers, man, for the season finale. This is the second to last injury report of the 2021/22 NFL season for the Lions. Now, I'm not sure what's going to be going on tonight. I don't think we're doing a show on Last Second Sports, but I do want to do something tonight. So we may do a stream on this channel. Maybe I'll put a video up. I'm not completely sure, okay? I'm still kind of trying to figure that out. I'm getting notes from the All-22, things like that. So, not completely sure. Maybe I'll even ask in the community. So, stay tuned to that. I'll have to figure out what that is. But for now, we have the injury report for the Lions and for the Packers. Plus, as always, since it's Thursday, we got to hear from the coordinators. So, let's get it started.
The city's been down, and it found a way to get up. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. We're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
Welcome to another video. Glad you guys are here. And if you noticed right there, I took a few words out of that intro from the intro. If you know what I'm saying. Like, usually we come back from the intro and I'm like, welcome in everybody. Make that better. I don't know why we have so many words in there. I just really broke that down in my head. And I was like, man, I got a lot of words in this. But I usually just say it without thinking about it. I'm like not even really understanding what I'm saying. So it's like, you know, it's just something I do. But the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I could just say welcome. So like, hey, welcome. How you guys doing? Hopefully everybody's having a good day today. We got rivalry week this week. We got Lions, Packers. We got Bears, Vikings. I know that's not usually a thing in the NFL, but it is this week. And I'm excited for it. The more I just listen to the Packers stuff, I hear from Matt LaFleur, and they're getting questions like, you know, we don't know when you're going to take your starters out, but when you do take your starters out, like, it's almost like they're just assuming, you know, they're going to be up this big amount. It's just the way they're asking questions, man. Now, they may take the starters out regardless, but it's kind of one of those things that it's just like, you know, it's just the assumption that you're just going to come in here and, like, beat us just because, you know, we've only won 2 games this season. It's just one of those things. Plus, you throw in the fact that it's Packers. I just don't like the Packers. So anytime we play them, I just want to beat them. You know, I just don't like them at all. When they're playoffs, I don't root for them. So be like, hey, you root for that? No, I don't root for the dang Packers. You know, this ain't college football. This ain't the Big Ten. I don't root for the Packers. Heck no, man. Packers, get out of here. Get beat first game. The only time that I ever bring it up is when someone tries to, like, trash our division. Like, oh, the NFC North trash. I'm like, well, we got the Packers, and, you know, they're pretty good. But then otherwise, I don't root for them at all. Heck, I don't root for the Packers at all, man. And this is one of those weeks. This would be just such a great send-off to beat the Green Bay Packers, man. I mean, it really would be. The first seed, they're going to be playing their starters. I think this would be beautiful to beat them in this game. The Lions are going to get after it. You know, they're going to throw a lot of different things at the Green Bay Packers. We may do some trick plays to finish off the season. We've done that before, especially if we have, you know, our starting quarterback. So I'm super excited for this game. Of course, there's a couple of pieces that we would love to get back off the COVID list, as we touched on yesterday. That would probably help a lot because it could limit some of the things that we may be able to do offensively if they're not there. Let's start off with the COVID list because we do have a slight change to the COVID list, and that is that the Lions have taken Geronimo Allison off of the COVID reserve list from the practice squad. So Geronimo Allison is back. He's been restored onto the practice squad. So your current COVID list is Sewell, Bryant, Decker, Rodney Smith, who is on the practice squad, and then, of course, Coach Aubrey Pleasant. Now, the 2 tackle spots, Anthony Lynn talked about it today. They said they had a plan in place. Of course, if those 2 guys can't go, it's kind of been like that all season. They've had to have a plan in place. Now, they haven't missed both tackles all season. That hasn't been a thing where both tackles have been down. That's not good. Lynn wouldn't go into what his plan was and what it would be at the tackle position if those 2 guys can't play. But he brought up some of the names. Yesterday, the Lions signed Darren Paulo to the practice squad. I doubt that would be one of their starters. I thought yesterday it'd probably be Matt Nelson and Will Holden. That's probably who they would go with. You know, Will Holden's got like 70 snaps a season. Matt Nelson, of course, was filling when Penei Sewell was down. But you can't forget about that man, Dan Skipper, who is also here on the practice squad. And he's been getting some reps, who Anthony Lynn brought up today. And I just want to refresh everybody on who Dan Skipper is, man. You got to remember this guy because I thought he was playing okay during the preseason. He played some left tackle when Sewell was out there. When Sewell would go out, he would be able to switch to right tackle. He was playing really solid against the Colts until he got carted off the field, went down with his injury in the preseason, and he ended up actually getting waived on an injury settlement with that injury that carted him off. He was brought back to our practice squad probably about a month ago. So Dan Skipper is here. I don't want you to forget about that man, Dan Skipper. There's a couple things that I like, and I had to refresh myself a little bit. Go back and watch some of these preseason games. Nothing crazy, just to refresh myself. I always forget how tall this guy is, and you're watching him. He is huge, and he's going against linebackers, things like that, and you're like, well, dang, he plays really tall. Well, he's just a really tall guy. Being able to play both tackle positions, I really like him as a run blocker because, man, his effort is through the roof. Like, he's always trying to find someone to block. So don't forget about Dan Skipper. So what would be their plan? I'm not completely sure. I would pretty much guarantee that Matt Nelson will be starting likely at right tackle, but then it could be Skipper or Holden. I'd probably lean towards Holden at left tackle, but again, don't count out Dan Skipper. Anyways, that's the Lions COVID list update. Let's move to their injury report, which honestly has had no changes today. Jason Kabinda remains with no participation. Well, that's the bad part. So he did not improve. Jason Kabinda for back-to-back days. That's 5 straight days of missing practice for Kabinda, not playing last week. So it's not a good sign for playing this week. It'd be cool to have Jason Kabinda back. I got done watching some of the All-22, and I was watching Jared Pinkney. We just didn't get any production, really, one from the tight end position, and of course we didn't have a fullback in that game. You know, we used Ross Travis and we used Pinkney, and Pinkney looked like he was really struggling trying to block. I mean, we threw passes to tackles really before we threw passes to our tight ends, if you think about it. So I know Kabinda's not a tight end, but he does give the Lions some versatility within the backfield. They can throw it to him. He can run block. He does a lot of things for us, a lot of the dirty work. Hey, he's a Pro Bowl alternative, okay? All right, that's Mr. Pro Bowl alternative. Another guy that's also on this list, Brock Wright, as we'll get to, he is back, so that's the good news. But let's continue with this. So you have Michael Brockers, again, limited today with his neck injury for the 2nd straight day. It's probably good news. I mean, it was a new injury. Usually it was the knee. Now it's the neck. But back-to-back days, limited participation, probably means a good thing. And Thursday is a very important day because Wednesday can be a little bit lighter. Like Campbell said, yesterday was modified. We see Michael Brockers pretty much limited like all season on the injury report. But again, he plays when he's limited. So, I'd say that's not a bad update for Michael Brockers. Jared Goff, back-to-back days of participation, which is really nice. Limited once again today. I thought today was another big day. They said he was moving around yesterday. Anthony Lynn said today he thought he was moving around pretty well yesterday. He was throwing the ball well. He's like, yeah, he's probably not at 100%, but who's at 100% these days? I mean, really, when you're at this part of the season, especially now because there's an extra week, who is really completely healthy? Like, if you've been playing all season, you're probably not completely healthy, but you're good enough to go. And this is a great update for Goff in terms of his status for Sunday, I would say. All right, back-to-back days of limited participation. So, good note there. Jonah Jackson, the guard, elbow, limited as well. Same thing with Jalen Reese-Maben. And then you wrap it up with Brock Wright. So, everybody but Jason on this list is limited, which I would say is good news for pretty much everybody on here. Brock Wright, he was back off the COVID list. Jalen's been limited for weeks with the shoulder injury, but he's been playing with it. Now, we do have an update on a couple of other guys like DeAndre Swift. We saw last week, I think he only had 4 carries. He didn't touch the ball much last week, and we were like, what's going on with DeAndre Swift? We thought maybe he'd get it more after practicing all week. And DeAndre Swift said he knew going into that game he would be pretty limited. He said this week he expects it to be kind of the same thing. He said the shoulder feels good, shouldn't need surgery, but he expects to probably be limited again this week after talking to coaches. So this will be an interesting week. I mean, there's some guys on this team that haven't gotten a ton of reps this year, especially young guys. I mean, for me, when you look at the running back room, of course, it's Jefferson. So do the Lions look to get him some reps in this game? Do they look to do that or not? That's the question. I would like to see him get some reps in this game personally. The guy's averaging 4.9 yards a carry. He just hasn't had the ball. He said that he's carried the ball less than 20 times this season. We'll see how they handle it, but Swift kind of expects to be a little bit limited again in this game. Now, let's move on to the Green Bay Packers side. They do have a couple of changes today on the injury report, but we do have some background with what's going on there. So taking a look at the Packers side, Mercedes Lewis is a new addition to this list, but it's just rest for the veteran tight end. So he's on here, but he should be able to be good to go for Sunday. That's one of their top tight ends. I think he was actually on here for rest last time we played them too, which I guess makes sense. David Bakhtiari is a guy that they've been looking to get back for a while now. Their top offensive tackle. Some people say he's the best tackle in the league. And you can see today it went from limited to no participation. So that's very concerning when you initially look at it. But then if you listen to Matt LaFleur, he kind of explains why that is what it is. He said he looked good in practice yesterday. Today the plan was to have him do some conditioning and then have have him back for Friday. So it's likely because today he probably wasn't going through practice reps. He was probably off to the side conditioning. Now, they're not sure if he's going to be able to play in Sunday's game. They'll say we'll kind of pull it through the weekend, see how he feels on Saturday, and then make the decision then. So they don't know if he's going to be playing on Sunday or not. That's why it's no participation. So it's not like anything really got worse from my understanding. It's just that today was a different type of day for him. Devondre Campbell, still limited with his elbow injury. Dominic Daphne, he improved to full participation, one of their tight ends. Aaron Jones, still limited again today with his knee injury. Kingsley did not participate for the second straight day with an illness. That's not good. I've only seen that once this season where a guy with an illness missed 2 days in a row. That's not good. Hopefully he can get back on Friday. We'll keep an eye on that one, man. Hopefully he gets better. And then he finished off with Aaron Rodgers, who did not practice yesterday, but today returned in limited fashion. Again, like we said, we expect Aaron Rodgers to play. He met with the media yesterday. They're trying to get that toe to 100%. He's going to be playing this weekend. So, don't expect Rodgers to not be in the game on Sunday. They're just kind of ramping him up. As usual, it's Thursday, so we have some notes from the Lions coordinators. Let's start with Aaron Glenn. I have much more notes from Aaron Glenn than I do with Anthony Lynn. The way that he looked at last game, I mean, this was short. Usually he kind of gets a little bit of a breakdown of last game, what went well, what went wrong. He's like, we would have started out fast. We got a 3 and out. And then he was just like, after that, it was really bad. He was just stopped. It was probably the shortest kind of breakdown that he had, but that's kind of how the game. I mean, we give up 51 points. We could have given 58 points. It was really bad. And he said, I look at it like this. I wish I could say every week you play your best. Every week you're at your best. But he said, I look at it as they had our number that day.
Listen, we have no excuses, man. This is a league to where they don't care. No one cares. All right. The only thing that people care about is who's lining up and who's playing. And once you're on that grass, right, you expect to go out there and perform. I said this the past couple of weeks. Every one of these guys that we have, they're in the meeting rooms. Everybody's cashing the check. So I expect you to be at your best every time you go out there. So we're definitely not going to sit there and have a pity party on who's playing, who's not playing. All right. The thing that we have to do as coaches, get the guys ready to play. And the players have to execute what we're trying to do.
Now, he was asked about Tracy Walker today, and he actually gave a pretty interesting answer when he talked about Tracy Walker's future. Is it with the Lions? We know he doesn't make the decision, but he'll have a very big impact on it because there's a defense coordinator. They'll talk to him and his thoughts on these guys. But he said this about Tracy Walker. They asked him if Tracy Walker is one of those guys that, they'd like to bring back. He said the biggest place where he's seemingly seen improvement is within the scheme, but also communication defensively, picking up the scheme, understanding it. He's flashed some plays this season. He's really improved. Kind of asked him, would you want to re-sign Tracy Walker? And he said this, absolutely. He kind of stopped himself when he was saying absolutely, kind of stopped himself, and he said this, look, we like good players. If you're a good player, well, we want to sign you. So, that's a little bit of insight of if you're wondering what's Tracy Walker's future looking like. Well, maybe that's a little bit of insight toward that. Again, he doesn't make the decisions, but he'll have a huge impact on it, being that he is the defensive coordinator. My favorite answer from him is this. When they asked him, because, of course, this is the time of year, and then, of course, to the offseason, they're going to start, interviewing head coaching candidates, things like that, for teams that are out of the playoffs.
To have other head coaching interviews, and if that opportunity comes, how has this season helped you get ready for it?
Very simple answer. I want to be the best coordinator the Lions ever had. And that's all I think about.
No head coach, nothing on the docket right now, at least.
I mean, if it happens, those things happen, man. But listen, this is a huge job that I have right now. And I want to be the best I can be at it. And I want to be the best that ever came through Detroit. I want you guys to say that at some point, that he was the best coordinator ever, right? And that's what my goal is.
Oh, snap, Aaron. Okay, I like that. Usually everybody gets the same answer. Well, if they call, we'll see what happens, but I'm focused on my job right now. Like, yeah, he said, I'm focused on my job, but I want to be the best Lions coordinator ever. Now, he didn't know how you judge that, but he just wants to be that. He's like, this is a big job for me, and it is. I like how he's taking so much attention to this, because this is like, you can't be looking forward. For Aaron Glenn, his first time as a DC, so he's taking this all in, and I love it. His focus is all on this. I want to be the best ever to do it as a Lions coordinator. That's awesome. That was an awesome answer. He also talked about Will Harris and said this. Harris has a lot of value in general, because they asked about Tracy Walker and players and value and things like that. He said Will Harris has a lot of value in general because, of course, of his versatility. He said he reminds me of P.J. Williams. Oh, yes, P.J. Williams. I remember looking at P.J. Williams back when we first hired Aaron Glenn and looking at guys that we could bring in the offseason. I remember looking at P.J. Williams a few times times. He's like, he reminds me of PJ Williams because he can kind of play everywhere in the backfield, in the defensive back end. And he said this, he's not the same, PJ Williams is not the same athlete as Will Harris, but he said there's no doubt a lot of flexibility in the offseason when you have that, when you have a guy like that with that much versatility.
As far as our defense in general, it wasn't one at the top of our level. What we did is we kept plugging along. You know, there was no, we didn't waver or what we believed in. Schematically, we did some things that were different. Obviously, you start bringing players in, you know, other players leave, right? But that's just how this league is. But the thing that I think it was most important is the players didn't waver and the coaching staff didn't waver. There's a belief system that we have, and we continue to believe that. And once you start to get that, the players really start to understand the culture of the team. And you start seeing teams start winning consistently after that. So to me, I see it the same way, us being here. We're not going to waver at all. Listen, we understand the outside noise is going to happen, but we understand what we believe in. We know how we've been playing, and this is one of those games that just happened.
I have from Anthony Lynn are kind of what I already said, you know, about the injury report. I do have one with Tim Boyle, though. You know, they like Tim Boyle. Like, it's clearly like Tim Boyle. Dan Campbell likes Boyle. I mean, the coaching staff likes Boyle. Anthony Lynn likes Tim Boyle. Like he said today, he's like, man, he just makes everybody better. He reads the field well. They like Tim Boyle, and Tim Boyle was asked about possibly returning, and he's like, yeah, I would love, you know, to be here, because, you know, he believes that this thing is going to be turned around and, you know, the direction that they're going. He said, I was there, not to say that I necessarily helped the Packers, but I was there. I saw what it was like to have a consistent winner, you know, that foundation, and he kind of thinks that's where the Lions are headed. So he would like to be here for that, and the Lions do like him. Like, I think he's coming back, man. I really do. It seems like it's gonna happen. Also, the Lions have waived cornerback Savion Smith, so that was a little bit of unfortunate news. We saw him a little bit on special teams for us, but they waived him today. Savion Smith was on the 53-man roster, so it opens up a roster spot. You know, maybe they can bring someone up this week. I don't know, but either way, Savion Smith has been waived. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That is your Lions and Packers injury report, and we'll see what happens today. I'm not completely sure right now. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.